Been number one and the ACL draft and media day. It was a jam-packed weekend out there in Rock Hill, South Carolina. K9 here with the Professor Anthony Ione. How you doing, brother?
Yo. I'm doing good, man. Just got back. Actually, I got back earlier yesterday. Had to get back, do some family stuff. So I took like a 6 a.m. flight out yesterday and hustled home in the morning. Trying to get home before the kids get up, so they don't feel that I'm gone as long.
Yeah, that makes sense. My dogs are just hoverers right now, man. They're sitting here to my side. They're like, "Hey, you gonna let us in?" I got barriers up. I got a backpack on top of a toolbox. I'm like, "You guys cannot come in here right now. We got business to attend to." But yeah, I'm filling in for Bernie today. I don't know about you, man, but I'm ready to run it back. Let's do that whole weekend again, man. What do you think?
Man, it was dope. Yeah, for anybody not there, I mean, we got a good look at the rookies. Kind of went through what we called the rookie showcase. It's like a combine, with different stations. So highlighted the ability to airmail, push, run bags with the deck around, how to play a block, which was my station. So me and Trey Ryder split those. He took, 25-ish rookies. I took 25-ish rookies. And we got to see how these players can play a block. So it really highlights styles of game. Am I airmail guy? Am I someone who has the ability to cut? How is my push through game? How am I going to handle a level 1 versus a level 4? So you got to see, step outs and, everything from I'm going to try and, come over a shallow blocker, use the slick side of my bag, minimize or maximize hole friendliness, to I'm going to do a full step out and cut around. So you got to really see all of the rookies and what they're capable of doing. Some really good talent coming into the league this year. And I'm sure we're going to talk about it a lot this episode, but that was kind of the big standout for me. And then, of course, getting to see all the new partnerships, out there. So we got to see a Tony Smith and a Mark Richards together, just all of them. I mean, we have a Trzynski and Tanner Halbert, the list goes on. So it was fun to see. Got a good look at Eric Davis and Matthew Sorrells. Sorrells coming back to the pro division. And Eric Davis moving over from Team Fire to Lucky. So he's out there throwing a pro sniper. Eric Davis throwing a pro sniper. And he's able to roll that thing no problem.
I can't remember an off season where we've had so many pieces moving around, but from what it looked like, I mean, we saw Alex Hicks and Ryan Trader.
Oh man, that was a fun one to watch.
Sammy Soto and Jackson Gore had a good run. Jake Gore and Devin Harbaugh teamed up. That was the only one that was kind of like, heck yeah, let's watch this. And I got so caught up in all the pieces that were moving around. Like halfway through, I thought they were a new team for the season. I was like, Jacob Gore and Devin Harbaugh going to be good this year. And I'm like, wait a second. No, that's only one time.
Devin Harbaugh Malone this year under Ultra. But yes, for whatever reason, they got broke up a little bit for this Open.
Yeah, so I haven't had a chance to go back in and watch the videos. I haven't even had a chance to go back in and watch the draft. But to give you guys an idea of what we're going to do here on this show today, we are going to basically go through each team, look at their team as a whole, how their draft finished up. And then, I mean, for me, Anthony, this is the first time I'm seeing these teams. I haven't had any time to breathe at all to look at it. So I'm kind of going to wing it. I hope you can carry me.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. If you were at the draft, I mean, it was rapid fire. The picks were coming in, sometimes less than a minute.
Well, did you know they changed the timer on us?
I didn't. So it felt faster. Is that what happened?
Since we got pushed back to 8 o'clock, they said, nah, no 2 minute. We got to go 1 minute.
Okay.
So like the graphic on the screen was showing 2 minutes, but then I guess like they went up to Corey and they're like, hey, you have to take that off of there because all the captains think they have 2 minutes. And they're like, we're cutting it down to 1 minute because of the time constraints. But I think for the most part, everyone did pretty good. I didn't hear anyone like get a buzzer. Hey, you guys got to get your pick in now or else you forfeit.
Right.
But I think all the captains did a pretty good job. And one thing that I saw this year compared to last year is there was actually a little bit more communicating at the table about what they want to do and how they want to go about building their team with the other teammates that were involved. So when I was out there, basically commentating on the panel with you guys, I kind of felt like it was captains making decisions. But whenever I got my first break and I got to go back there and watch whenever Bernie took over, like everybody was huddled, man. Everybody was huddled around the table, around their sheets of paper. It was a collective decision-making process. And I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, the tables were packed. It wasn't just a captain sitting at a table by himself making picks. He's got multiple, and as picks were coming in, those players would come over to their team, share information. I mean, they had some Zoom meetings going. I saw Team Burn have, Doug Zaft up on a Zoom and people are on phone calls and they had paperwork and spreadsheets and everybody did a lot of homework. So yeah, people came in prepared. So I think that's what helped it kind of cruise along a little faster.
All right. Well, like I said, we're going to go through all 16 teams, so we got a lot to get to. So let's go ahead and take our first break. Chat, go ahead and put in the comments. Let me know which team you guys are looking forward to watching this season. We'll be back here in 2 minutes. See you guys soon. All right, chat. Welcome back. We're going to get into it in just a second. Go ahead and catching up with the chat here. We got Isaiah Reyes says the Texas Bullybaggers. Josh Doty says freeze for the win. Nathan says that boy Juwan Smith is someone to watch out for this season. I'll tell you what, Juwan Smith was one of the standouts at my station. I am looking forward to it. Got to hang out with him for probably about 10 minutes on the main court. And I got to say, I like his personality too. So that's one thing that I think we're getting with this rookie class is we're getting a different type of personality class than we had last year too. So which is good. We need that in the pro division.
Juwan was dope. Got a lot of humor attached to him. A high energy guy. I think he'll be a good hype dude. Yeah. You know, when you're in this teams event, one of the most unique grips and releases you're going to see in the league. Guys, you haven't seen anything like this. The guy's tossing pizza. You know, he's pinching it from below the bag. I wouldn't even call it a grip. It's just a pinch. So when you get to see that guy toss, it'll blow your mind.
Yeah, we were actually having fun with it on the live stream court after I was doing my teardown. It was Ryan Wiedenfeld, I think Landon Crabtree, Kobe Shearer. They came over and I said, I'll give you guys $20 if you put a 4-bagger in throwing, or $100 if you put a 4-bagger in throwing with his grip, and like nobody could even come close to 2 bags on the board. So yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch this season. I saw that Chris Roybal got a lot of internet love or hate. I don't even know right now on the internet about his release. So yeah, unique techniques, different personalities, but
his
let's
is
go ahead and
mess.
get into it, man. Anthony tries to get crazy. All right, so let's get into it, man. We're going to start things off the way the draft started off with the Virginia Cutters. Again, it's very, very hard for us to follow all these trades that happen, but I know that they traded up to get basically the first and second pick of the draft. So they basically capitalized by getting rid of Ryan Wiedenfeld to put 2 elite players at the front end of this draft. I don't know if it's necessarily parallel or even or better. I guess time will tell to see how it goes, but their first 2 picks, Jacob Gore and Sammy Soto at the top of the draft. Dakota Salee, Felix Vargas III, Jonathan Etheridge, you said he was a standout at your station, Travis Graven, Josh Glover, Lexi Hugeback, Matt Raymond, Nate Gallup, and Desiree McCoy. The Cutters came in as the lowest ranked team going into the draft, combined pro record of 555. Anthony, looking at the team last year, this year, do you think they improved in the areas they needed to?
Yeah, you know, it's going to be all the teams are changing quite a bit, right? So for those that don't know, we only kept 6. So 6 players rolled over from last season, 10 new players to every team. So We're going to see a drastic change if I kind of just look at some numbers on how they compare to the rest. They're going to be at the bottom of the pack. Let's look at some stats. They're going to be third to last in PPR as a team, 10th to last in DPR. So they've got that thing going on. Kind of looking down, they picked up a couple females. There are some teams that have no ladies, and we kind of saw the ladies fall a little bit in the draft as we were moving along. 5 rookies on that team. If I'm looking across at some of the other teams, that's one of the higher ones. There's only one team that has 6 rookies. There's some with 1, 2, 0. So if they're heavy in rookies, let's look at how those rookies did at the showcase. If you look at their rookies against all the other rookies on their team, they're about 5th out of the pack of 16 teams. So that tells me they kind of picked up a decent rookie class coming in. A lot of returning pros though. So it looks like 10 returning pros, 5 rookies coming in. So, and we'll know in some cases we're going to have returning pros. So we have a couple pros that used to play for us and are now back, like a Matthew Sorrells who was heavily weighted in the draft.
Yeah, I think that some of the players slipped. We kind of talked about Josh Glover, Jonathan Etheridge. He did very well on our station. Not too familiar with Nate and Matt down at the bottom. Desiree, known her for a while. She kind of struggled a little bit during the showcase, at least at our station. But she was like the first person at our station, first thing in the morning. So really hard to get in a rhythm. There's no down and backs. We didn't have time for it. But I like Felix Vargas III. He was a standout for me last year. Let me ask you something, though. If you had the Cutters' first pick and you were going into this draft, would you try to trade away that first pick to get more value as a team as a whole because of how far behind you were everybody else?
Yeah, we saw that with some of the teams. I think that's what the Woodchucks came out with. Jimmy Humans is he's a smart dude. He kind of he sees 2 moves ahead when it comes to things like this. So some players were going for depth, and not necessarily, hey, I want to get this banging player right out of the gate. I want to, have really solid 2nd, 3rd, 4th round draft picks. So we'll kind of have to see how that plays in. But you mentioned John Etheridge. He was kind of a standout for me at the blocker. I told this one on the draft, but he ditched the whole idea of playing the blocker about the back third. And he was like, screw this. I'm going to go all airmail. This dude hit 25 of 26 airmail to finish my station and ended up scoring, one of the higher scores in that one.
I'm not going to lie. I probably would have done the same thing. I would have just been like, I'm stepping out for everything. I don't care what angle it is. I'm not shooting airmails. I'm just going to try and slide or sneak behind it because, man, the blockers mess me up. I can't push through them. I probably would have had the lowest score if I was in that showcase. So
yeah, the way the scoring went, it would penalize you if you weren't hitting at least 50%. So he kind of went with ride or die on the airmail or live or die, and he lived. But there were other guys that tried to go all airmail, and when they missed 2 or 3 in a row, their score is tanking.
Really?
So, for a guy that he went 13 in a row, missed 1, and then went 12 in a row. So it paid off for him.
All right, well, let's go ahead and take a look at our next team here, the Georgia Sliders. We talked about them acquiring Ryan Wiedenfeld for the trade. Their team consists of Cameron Belvin, Ryan Smith, Bobby Hunt, Terry Mathis, Duncan Clemmer, Ryan Wiedenfeld, Josh Holland, Trey Hunt, Tice Cobb, Cody Johnson, Gabe Dolan, Andrew Noyes, Jerry Lockwood, and Katie Matthews. So I think what they were going here with the Georgia Sliders is they were kind of taking the Michigan Marauder approach last year by getting their partners and pro partners. Obviously, some strong ones. You got Cameron Belvin and Tice Cobb, Ryan Smith and Ryan Wiedenfeld, Duncan Clemmer and Josh Holland, just to kind of name a few. So what do you think about the Sliders approach and how they executed it?
Yeah, I will say right out of the gate, just to talk stats, they're going to be they're the only team with a negative DPR as a team. So now if you look at this squad, right, a lot of these players are going to grind out their game. Gabe Dolan, Tice Cobb, Ryan Smith, Bobby Hunt, these guys are going to, Ryan Wiedenfeld, these guys are going to grind out matches, but that is worth mentioning that they're they might be, and let me just double check. I think they're the only team with a negative DPR. Nope. One other team has a negative DPR. So let's just mention that. But yeah, the trade for Wiedenfeld's a beast, really hoping that he, essentially, it's weird to say, but breaks out this season, right? We're talking about the world champ, the advanced world champ from 2 seasons ago. He's due. This guy's due to break out. We know he has the skill set. I think that he's a very aggressive player. and kind of has this, nonchalant attitude. But I think if he kind of focused up and was a little bit less aggressive, he could, a little more disciplined. He could break out as a top 10 dude like we saw Burton Jr. and Chamberlain and some of these other guys.
Yeah, I really liked what I saw out of him this weekend in singles, specifically. Only losing to Alan Rawls, and Alan Rawls is just on another level. If we don't give him the respect, he's going to take it from us. He deserves the respect, but Ryan Wiedenfeld gave him everything. I think the only thing missing right now is the accuracy on the roll. Ryan Wiedenfeld, as you mentioned, it's effortless the way he throws the bag sometimes. The airmails, the roll shots are kind of escaping a little bit. I want to focus on this team, though, a little bit with Jerry Lockwood down at the bottom. A guy from your area, pretty familiar with him. Always just making the PDC seniors division look easy, qualified for the nationals, getting through it. I think Jerry Lockwood that late in the draft, basically their second to last pick, was a pretty good steal for them. Cody Johnson was kind of hit or miss last season. Same thing with Gabe Dolis. But all in all, man, I really like the Georgia Sliders team.
One thing,
I'm not a big stat guy like you are, but I think that the pro pairings are really, really good ones.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the only stat that matters is wins, right? So we're just kind of looking at this big picture. But one thing worth mentioning, do you see a rookie in here? I don't.
Oh, man, didn't even think about that. Other than Jerry Lockwood, I guess.
He's coming out of the PDC, so however we measure him, I think everyone else
that counts.
Is a pro, yeah.
And same thing with Katie Matthews. I'm not sure if she was in PDC or just women's, but yeah, either way, lots of experience on that team. Let's go ahead and take a look at the, I guess, Mr. Wizard, we can call him, Jimmy Human's squad. The New England Woodchucks. The man was putting together quite a few trades to get his squad where it needs to be. Storm Hogue, Michael Lucas Jr., Alec Ryan, Zach Scheibner, Jake Trzynski, Tyler Cobb, Jeremiah Ellis, Caleb Franklin, Hunter Thorson, Mike McClanahan, Brandon Selmeyer, Nick Moore, Connor Weiss, and Bernie Pertalesi. What do you think about the New England Woodchucks squad?
Yeah, so I think it was Jimmy Humans that made the first move, right, in the draft. I think he kind of broke the seal on the trades. I think, what was that stat when we started? I think we went through like 14 or 15 rounds.
At the very beginning of the trades?
Yeah, and every single one was a trade except for like 2 or something like that.
There were 8 trades basically in the first 16 picks.
Okay.
It looks like 4 more in the next round, so...
Yeah, so there was a lot going on there early. So yeah, he kind of broke the seal on that, and his goal was to move up a couple picks and get something. I think it was in like the second or third or fourth round, just to add depth. And I think he accomplished that. Do we have a female on this team?
No,
this looks like an all-male team. So an all-male team. Again, some teams having up to 4. Just kind of scanning across here. Yeah, 4 or 5 females. So here's a squad that's all dudes. I think that Alec Ryan was a trade. Did you say that already? I think he traded for Alec Ryan.
Yeah, Alec Ryan was part of that trade for Kyle Malone. So I'm still kind of torn on how I feel about that one. Obviously, Jimmy and Kyle were partners last season, so I'm not sure if there was a little inside information or a little animosity, or maybe this is a little bit more strategic approach here from Jimmy. But Alec for Kyle Malone straight up. I would probably lean more towards the Kyle side, but again, really hard for us to kind of follow the trades and see who they actually got with that other trade. I think they won on the Gavin Cano trade, trading away Gavin Cano to basically move up a couple spots to snag Jeremiah Ellis in that situation, and they got Tyler Cobb to go along with it. So I think they won that trade to be determined on the second trade there with Alec and Kyle.
Yeah, Jeremiah Ellis is going to be nice, guys. If you're not familiar with this guy coming in as a rookie, made a sick run in singles. He really showed his presence, and doubles, as a matter of fact, playing alongside Hart. So I think the thing with the Kyle Malone trade, though, is you have some people that are into teams,
yep,
and some people who are not.
Yeah.
And I think Alec Ryan is one of those guys that's going to be into it, and he's going to bring a more positive vibe. Kyle Malone maybe not as bought into the team's event. So I think if you're not getting the best out of a player, if you're not getting Kyle Malone in the team's event, why keep him? So if you can get Alec Ryan, who's going to outperform Kyle Malone in the team's event, that could have possibly been
the only thing I could say on that is basically Kyle Malone's name isn't going to go away. You know what I mean? So there is a long time before we start actually playing teams games. I probably would have felt it out a little bit more to see how other teams shook up a little bit, and then maybe gone after maybe a 2-for-1 or something like that. You could probably get Alec Ryan plus another piece and stay there, but who knows how it actually could have happened. But let's go ahead and look at our last team before we take our next break. The Ohio Aviators. Noah Almanza, the captain. Trey Birchfield, Fisher Hamilton, Matt Abernathy, Gavin Cano, Carson Getty, Ryan Tucker, Jeremiah Hector, Mike Hoffman, Evan Vanos, Isabella Soprennant, Dan Glogowski, Tony Franco Sr., Josh Seelan, and Kirk Owen. Who stands out to you on this squad?
Yeah, let's look at this. So the biggest one was Gavin Cano, right?
Yeah,
Gavin Cano was a part of a 2-part trade. Jimmy Humans was looking 2 moves ahead. He went and got Cano with a plan to trade him to another team who would then trade him to the Aviators. Is that how that went? It was a little bit complicated.
Yeah, I'm missing a piece somewhere. I don't understand why the Mays didn't just go straight to number 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe they couldn't get that done. So whatever that other piece of the trade was, it played a factor. But obviously a big pickup for the Aviators. You're going to have now Fisher Hamilton and Gavin Cano, a natural partnership on the same team. I think Cano was requesting that trade, if I saw some stuff on Twitter correctly.
Yep.
So another case where, hey, if a guy's going to a team saying, hey, I don't want to play for you guys, do you want to keep them? Are you going to get the best out of them? I don't know how that, kind of ruins the whole process, but maybe there's a time where you just say, nah, you're on our team. We're still going to expect you to perform.
Well, like we said, the New England Woodchucks basically got Jeremiah Ellis for that spot. I think Gavin Cano and Jeremiah Ellis are going to have phenomenal singles seasons, and then putting in with his partner there, Fisher Hamilton. The only question is basically getting Cano on Hamilton. Does that translate to 1 win per team? You know what I mean? You basically guarantee yourself 1 win, but as far as how your whole team goes, I don't know. I think Glogowski and Tony Franco Sr. for me were standouts. So I think that could be a good, well-rounded squad, good deep value. And then we still got the question mark with Bella. We didn't see her this last weekend, but all signs show her coming back. So we're just going to kind of have to wait and see that one out.
I will mention, though, statistically, these guys are doing awesome in both categories. Number 3 in PPR, number 2 in DPR. It doesn't mean everything, but if you look at the top 10, 15 guys, and those who do well in both categories do well overall. So if you have a team who's top 3 and top 2 in both categories, statistically, they should do pretty well.
Yeah, they did well last year, so we'll see. Could continue. We'll take a break. When we come back, 4 more teams for you guys right after this. All right, let's get back into it. Chat. Becky said Jeremiah is a beast. We got a chance to see that this weekend. Next 4 teams we're going to take a look at are the Michigan Marauders, Kentucky Colonels, Arizona Burn, and the Florida Freeze. Let's get into it. The Michigan Marauders, captained by Joe Neested with his new partner, Jordan Power, Mike Ferreira, Jeremy Schermerhorn, Chucky Love, Trevor Kufis, Austin Cameron, Jamie Fincham, Mike Jaquez, Sarah Cassidy, Justin Carpenter, Gina Ramirez, Rob Visionov, Maya Cup, Daniel Walker Jr., and Megan Moppin. Last year, they kind of went with that pro partner technique. This year, it kind of looks like they switched a little bit more regional. Austin Cameron and Jamie Fincham have thrown together two rookies that I'm looking forward to watching this season. And then Justin Carpenter nominated for Comeback Player of the Year or Most Improved or something like that, whatever that was. I can't keep track of all this stuff. But Anthony, what do you think about the Marauders?
Yeah, I mean, nothing flashy here, right? Worth mentioning, we finally have a team that heavily invested in some females. So we got 4 female baggers on the squad. I will say out of the rookies, Jamie Fincham, I personally have a lot of expectations for this guy. He's going to have that kind of old school game. He's up the middle guy with a sick airmail. We saw him make a really good run. I want to say it was at one of the opens with Ryan Smith, if I remember correctly. You're talking about a guy playing for podium stuff. Yeah. Okay. So a lot of expectation out of him. And obviously Austin Cameron, who was on most of, if not all of the first round draft predictions. So he's going to be really nice. And then I thought, Jack was kind of sneaked, stayed around pretty long under the radar, a guy who's been around for a really long time. And I think out of the, out of the 9 position, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe out of the 8 position, he could be a value add to this team.
Yeah, I like the females that they got on this squad. So getting them late, Maya Cup, I believe, was one of the highest statistical PPR players that late in the draft. I mean, we were Mish kept mentioning it. Why is Maya Cup still there? Why is Maya Cup still there? And then her going to basically a hometown team, I think it's going to be very beneficial for them.
I'll tell you why Maya Cup was there, and that's going to come down to my station at the Rookie Showcase is playing the block. Maya Cup will fill up the hole if she has an open hole, but the minute you put something in her way, now it's requiring something else. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where she needs to level up her game. I wouldn't look at PPR for her as what makes her good. It definitely helps, but she needs to improve the play the block game.
Right on. I'll tell you what, man, I was kind of surprised. Matt Guy was actually playing the draft game, man. We saw him making some moves and kind of enjoying it and get into it. I was a little concerned about the approach they had last year. You guys loved him last year. I wasn't sold, but I actually kind of like what he did this year. Brett Guy, Damon Dennis, Samantha Finley, Justin Rule, Kimberly Glass, Ryan Hart, Pat Sim, Carter Bennett, Anthony Mayball, Mark Burgess, Bracy Blanton, Brandon Brown, Lori Dool, David Ryan, and Dayton Weber. So I believe they traded away their first round pick for Ryan Hart, which ended up being, I believe, Matt Sorrells. So their first pick overall was Pat Sim. Pat Sim finishing second only to Damon Dennis in the seniors division. So kind of wondering if that helped factor in. I want to focus on Carter Bennett for me. I think Carter Bennett is one of these players that could basically swing the tide of a matchup. He's going to be able to go up against a top tier player. We saw it in, I believe, Portland or maybe Erie, one of those two, where he took on Alex Rawls coming out of the PDC, took him down as Alex Rawls is the number 1 seed. Carter Bennett went on a deep run, I believe, finishing 4th in that pro bracket. So Carter Bennett, mad talent. Let's see how it works on the Colonels. What do you think, though?
Right away out of the gate, this is the oldest team in the league with an average age of 39 years old. And just to give you an idea, let's see who is the youngest. The youngest team is 27 years old. So the Cutters coming in at 27 years old. So we have a 12-year gap on average. So the oldest squad, just to mention that. So Pat Sem was really impressive in the showcase. Let me see if I can pull him up real quick. But yeah, he ended up overall score really, really good. I thought he was going to struggle at play the block. He's going to have the old man's game. He's using the slick side of an ultra. I want to say it was like a Viper or something like that. He's going to play that slick side, a ridiculous airmail. We might put Pat Sem up there with maybe top 10 in the league in an airmail. He's going to be like your MacGuffin, who's going to come out and just slap airmails like no one's business. So I really like him as a pickup for that team.
I got to say, when I was watching Pat in seniors, there's a couple times where I didn't really think he should have gone for the airmail because of the wrist, but he went after and he hit it. And he was dragging some bags. He was throwing the slick side of the Viper R nonstop the entire time. I think one player got to give credit to is Justin Rule. Phenomenal weekend this week in singles.
Dude, he's leveling up.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Definitely deserves to be on some people's radar. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Arizona Burn now. We got Ty Lopez as the captain, Doug Zaft, Derek Holland, Jeff Reynolds, Moses Asueta, Florentino Mendoza, Colby Shearer, Chris Roybal, Landon Crabtree, Tyler Parent, Jaime Sanchez, Matt Allen, Devin Wolf, Derek Singleton, and Chad Rowe. Who stands out to you on this squad?
Yeah, so we already talked about, let's kind of go down the list. So Doug, Derek, Jeff, Moses, Florentino Mendoza. Those were the 6 that they kept to roll over from last year. So your first pick is going to come right there in at Colby Shearer. I actually didn't see him go in the first round. So I was actually just surprised to see him go the first round. He wasn't really too far behind what I thought the first round should look like. But, man, I like this kid a lot. You talked about personalities coming into the league with Juwan Smith. This kid, Colby Shearer, man, he's a talker. I think he would be really good on interviews and brings a really good personality to the league. And he's got a game that just continues to improve. He made a really nice run, if I remember correctly, in doubles. Do you remember where he ended up there?
I want to say they got to the finals in their bracket, if I'm not mistaken. If not, very, very close. Him and Angel had a good run. I love the personality of Colby. He was sitting next to the live stream table quite a bit. He wants to be on the mic. I asked for a BG player interviewer, and he was first to volunteer, so I love that. I want to go back and watch that match with him. I can't remember who they played, but I believe it was just bar of soap after bar of soap after bar of soap. So I'm going to definitely go through the videos here tonight and kind of take a peek at it. We talked about Chris and his technique. Devin Wolf was a player that I knew nothing about going into the showcase. I saw him in the Titan video, but he did really, really well at our push station. So from what I saw, I was actually looking for his name whenever we were doing our best available. Jeff asked me at the end whenever I didn't have my list updated. I was looking for Devin Wolf's name, but I couldn't tell if he got taken. So seeing him go that late in the draft, I think that's a really good pick for the Burn. See if it kind of plays out.
All right. Another just real quick, another point worth mentioning. Number 1 in DPR, number 2 in PPR. This is collective as a team. And then if you talk about unorthodox pitches in the league, this team has all the unorthodox stuff in one team.
This isn't going to be your favorite team to watch, is it?
Guys, when you get a look at Chris Roybal's technique, it's going to blow your mind. And then, of course, we're very familiar with Tyler Parent. He's got a lot going on. And then Jaime Sanchez, who also has a very unique technique, who did really well with it in doubles, not so much in singles, but you get all 3 of those, probably some of the most unique, unorthodox pitch techniques in the league, all in one squad.
Yeah, I think Chad Rowe really struggled in the showcase, but he has proven in tournaments that he can go deep in brackets. So if that's their last pick, if I'm reading this correctly, that could be a steal at the very last pick. Over to the Florida Freeze now. They got a lot less players than everybody else, Bernie. Sorry, Anthony. So I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see how they play the waiver wires and how that shakes up. But as you can see, they got Cheyenne Bubenheim, Matthew Sorrells, Chris Kingsbury, Blaine Rozier, Alan Rawls, Blake Karnick, Andrew Labrador, Dave Sutton, PJ Knott, Nate Long, Curtis Haddix, and Wendy Selmeyer. So the names they have, I like it, but we just need more. We need more wins. So where are they going to come from?
This team feels stacked to me. And again, you're talking about names. I don't remember. I don't know if you have it in front of you, but somehow they were able to manipulate Alan Rawls. Wasn't that a trade?
That was for the first and second round pick. Yeah, that was part of the little team's speech that I gave. So they traded their first and second pick to get Alan Rawls. And I understand the process of it, and I liked it. They traded the high rollers, I believe. It was kind of early offered, which I didn't like at the time, but then Alan Rawls goes on to win open singles. So if he wins open singles and they don't make that trade, do they still get Alan Rawls? I don't think so. So, yeah, getting Alan Rawls, because basically their first round pick was very, very near the end. And then their second round pick would have been near the end of that round as well. So picking up a number 9 overall ranked pro for basically 2 players that would have been near the end of the draft or their round, I think that was a good move for the Freeze at that time. Just don't know if it needed to happen as early as it did.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I keep waiting for Alan Rawls to fade just because I don't know what it is about him, whether it's the way his bag flies or the fact that he openly talks about how much he doesn't really practice his game. Although he is practicing more, dude comes out and takes down Tony Smith in the finals. And Tony Smith was unbeatable coming in, man. I was like, there's no way anyone's going to beat Tony Smith. And Alan Rawls took him down weathered the storm. I mean, Tomey came out hot. Alan Rawls did what he had to do. But you know what blows my mind, if you could pull that graphic up just really quick, is if we go to the second column, and this is how much the game is evolving. Look at this. You got Dave Sutton. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's 8th in line behind Andre Labrador, behind Blake Karnick. Dave Sutton gets picked up this late. You know, we're talking about a guy who's, God, to me, he's like a legend in the game. You know, he's been around for so long. He's a guy that I followed for so long. When he's hot, you know, he could beat anybody. So it's crazy to see Dave Sutton fall that far in the draft.
Yeah, I was a Freeze man last year. I got to look at it a little bit deeper and see if I'm going to go with the Freeze. I put on Facebook, I said, whoever buys me a hat gets my allegiance for this season. So we'll see. I'm easily bought. But all right, we'll take one more break, come back with the next 4 teams right after this. All right, chat. What up? We're going to try and pick up the pace a little bit here, else we'll be here forever. There's so much to talk about with this draft. Checking up the chat. Landon Crabtree going back to the burn. He's got that reverse spin going with the Island of Misfit toys in there for the burn, Anthony.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, throw that in there too, man.
Yeah. Daniel Lambert, appreciate the love on the hat, man. The Dragon Bag swag. Let's go ahead and take a look at the California Slingers. We got Tony Smith. We talked about him getting second place to Alan Rawls only in the singles format. Corey Gilbert, Nick Williams, Peter Sessueta, Philip Lopez Jr., Kyle Malone, Logan Hall, Dean Norton, Ricky Gonzalez, Emily Downer, Michael Nunez, Roy Fairden, Michael Allen, and Andrew Clark. A couple of players they picked up via trade, Kyle Malone and Philip Lopez Jr. One of the huge standouts from the showcase there, Logan Hall. What do you think about the Cali Slingers, Anthony?
Yeah, Logan Hall was money. I didn't see him coming. I personally wasn't familiar with him or his game. He showed out. I think he had, what was it, the second or third highest score out of the combine or the showcase. So well deserved of that pick for them. Worth mentioning, this team has 4 players who qualified through the pro qualifier. There's only one other team that has 4 pro qualifier pros. So to me, that is your best breed, right? I mean, you're talking about players that went through that gauntlet, 800 players, whatever it was. They were the last 32 standing. To me, when you get a player out of the pro qualifier, you're getting a quality player because, PPR doesn't matter. DPR doesn't matter. All these stats don't matter. What matters is that they won and they made it to the bottom 32, and they've got 4 of those.
Yeah, I think Logan Hall was one of those players you're talking about, qualified. Yes. Throwing the K9 bags. I believe he's Juwan Smith's partner. So that could be a really, really fun team to watch this season.
That's right. I was talking to Juwan Smith. He said that. They're going to be nasty, dude.
Yeah, there's going to be a fight over Corey Gilbert. You got his old partner there, Ricky G and Dean Norton. Got them both on that spin. So good pickups there. Let's go ahead and take a look at your Colorado boys and girls. We got Yeti Irwan, the captain here, picking up Derek King in the trade, Adam Hissner, Justin Doss, Eric Anderson, Ian Cripps, Caden Allen, Ryan Trader, Nick Patuski, Caleb Mildinka. I don't know. We got to get Trey in for that one. Connie Altice, Byron Sisson, Zoe Gann. Was it?
Yeah, Medenka. I was talking to him. Just no L.
All right, I'll try it.
He'll take Medenka or Medinka. He doesn't care.
I got you. I'll work on it. Connie Altice, Byron Sisson, Zoe Gann, Mike Selmeyer, Trey Baker, and Nicole Pratt. It's actually Nicole Pratt. Typo. But I love the two youngins right there, Caden Allen and Ryan Trader, getting rid of basically Josh Holland and acquiring Ian Cripps through that trade. What do you think about this squad here, Anthony?
Yeah, so 6 rookies on this squad. That's going to be the highest. Oh, yeah, that is the highest out of all the pros or teams. So you got 6 rookies coming out. This team grinds more than any other team. So if you look at rounds, if you talk about regionals and above, how many rounds these players play, if you add them up, this team has more rounds played than any other team, and it's probably heavily carried by like a Ryan Trader or something who plays thousands of rounds. But yeah, you get these nice young kids and Ian Cripps and Ryan Trader. Guys, Ryan Trader is the real deal. This young kid goes out and takes down a bracket at Open 1. We had 3 Ryans: Ryan Smith, Ryan Trader, and Ryan Wiedenfield. We were 1 Ryan short. Who was it?
It was Ryan Windsor.
Ryan Windsor came up short.
Ryan Smith, right?
Oh, yeah, it was Ryan. Yeah, that's right. It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think you're right. It was it was Ryan Smith or Ryan Windsor. But anyways, this kid is legit. Comes out of a singles bracket and was valued really high in the picks. He's gonna kill. And then we can't forget that we had Caden Allen on that list.
Yeah, Caden Allen, one of my boys from last season. I think he is going to make a lot of noise this season. I'm actually ridiculously excited, Anthony, to watch this Rookie of the Year race. There are so many names that could win Rookie of the Year this year. So bring it out. I'm ready for it.
Just one mention on that. It was Caden Allen scored the highest through 114 deck around first try in the qualifier or in the combine.
Yeah, 114 out of 120. Ridiculous. Kid is good. All right, Texas Bully Baggers here, captained by Eddie Grindersleeve, Caleb Batson, AJ Sims, Dylan Turpin, Cameron Kingfisher, Deborah Odom, Braden Wilson, Rosie Streaker, Ernest Cisneros, Mike Harvey, Jared Kufis, Vanessa Fillingham, Eric Sherney, and Zach Harris. They traded up to get Braden Wilson. Obviously, they could not let Braden Wilson go to a different squad. He's heavily Texas. So the Texas Bully Baggers here sticking pretty much in the Texas area. What do you think about their overall squad, though?
A lot of Texas. And if you're going to give me a lot of players out of Texas, you're going to be a good team. I'm just going to kind of go down the list. Grindersleeve, Batson, Sims, Turpin, Kingfisher, kind of really close out of Oklahoma. I mean, they're right in that area. Odom's out of Texas. Braden Wilson's out of Texas. They got Ernest out of Texas. Vanessa Fillingham and Zach Harris. So heavy Texas team. And we know what kind of players we're going to get out of them. Braden Wilson, I think they made a trade to move up and grab him, if I remember correctly. Braden Wilson, also the real deal. This kid is nice.
Yeah, my only concern on this squad is they're missing a few players, so they're going to have to go out there through the waiver wires with the elite players and stuff like that. So obviously Texas has a deep pool to pull from, so that could work out pretty well for them. But we're going to take one break. When we come back, the final 4 squads: Pennsylvania Ringers, Chicagoland Spinners, Missouri Mays, and Carolina Coasters right after this. right, chat. We're back. Welcome back here for ACL Live, going over the draft again. Anthony and K9 here. Got the final four teams: the Pennsylvania Ringers, Chicagoland Spinners, Missouri Mays, and the Carolina Coasters. Let's take a look at the defending champions, captained by Devin Harbaugh, Justin Burton Jr., Matthew Creekiller, Gage Landis, Tubby Cobb, Matt Troxel, Brady Foster, Trip Baker, Brevin Valdivia, Elizabeth Tennyson, Hunter Yacklin, Shaquille Maxey, Adrian Johnson, Sean Farrell, Jason Frady, Tiffany Fincham. What do you think about this squad, Anthony?
Yeah, really liking what I'm seeing out of Brady Foster. I believe he's partnering with Jimmy Humans, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that kid's going to be really nice. Was that their first pick? I believe it was, right? Because it was Troxel that was the last.
Yeah, it was their. I believe they filled in a spot with Troxel. They had to trade somebody, I believe, or something.
Yeah,
like that.
that's
But
right.
Brady
That's
Foster,
right.
I think, was their first pick in the first round. I think I was the only one that had him going in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, if you're kind of looking at it first glance, I mean, it's like, I don't know, it doesn't look really like flashy, you know? Like if you look at the list, it's like, you know, not necessarily who are these people, and in many cases, who are these people? I will say that Shaquille, and he goes by a different name. I want to say it's like Tyrell or something like that. Yeah. Tyrell, another awesome personality coming into the league. I actually enjoyed him in my station. He looks like he'll be a lot of fun, but you know, if we don't have numbers in front of us, you know, and we kind of just don't know a lot about these, you know, Brady Foster, Trip Baker, what are they going to be like coming into the league? You know, we know what we get out of Valdivia. What's Tyrell going to give us? Adrian Johnson, you know, he just, I'd like to see him perform better. You know, we always see him in the 200s in singles, a guy that, you know, you think would be, you know, kind of cracking up higher in the, you know, top 50 or something like that. I don't know. At first glance, I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling this roster too much.
I think they're going to be middle of the pack, but Devin's pretty smart. He might be able to, you know, mix and match the matchups a little bit better to kind of steal a few wins. I don't think they're going to be as dominant as they were last season. I do like Trip Baker and Brady Foster right there, bringing back Elizabeth. She shined on the broadcast for them. Sean Farrell late is a good pickup there. I know Adrian's going to put in the work, so we'll see what the Ringers can do this year as defending champs. Moving on to the Chicagoland Spinners, Mark Richards, the captain here, Nika Morales, his pro partner Tyler Poitras, Timmy Jonas, Jordan Kimbrell, Travis Purser, Frank Verona, Angel Camarena, Zach Engelken, Jay Corley, Zachary Lewis, Ashton Spees, David Morse, Greg Poulos, and Tina Tafoya. Frank Verona going in the first round there, and then Angel Camarena shortly after. What do you think about this squad?
Hey, we're going to get a lot out of these rookies, Frank Verona and Angel. I think these guys are, specifically Angel, is probably under the radar. Some might know Frank Verona. If you don't, this kid's going to be nasty as well. I'm really expecting these guys to come out and not only help the Chicagoland Spinners, but to be a threat within the league as well. How crazy is it if you look at the back of that list? Ashton Spees, David Moores, look how far down they are. Does that blow your mind, or is it just me?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to find it now. Actually, I got it right here. Yeah, they got picked real late. I just don't understand why they fell that far down. I mean, David Morse is still more than capable of competing and winning at this level. I liked what I saw out of Jay Corley at the qualifier. I want to see a lot more of that this season. Ashton Spees had some pretty good moments last season. I want to see a consistent year out of him. But, I mean, overall, I kind of actually like the Spinners roster. All right, moving on to the Missouri Mays, captained by Ryan Windsor, Cedro Herrera, Stephen Bernasette, Ethan Walker, Jalen Jones, Alex Hicks, Vincent Frisch, Justin Duke, Juwan Smith, Damon Reynolds, Nate Voyer, Kevin Smith, Nick Mescal, Joe Tyler Saladina, and Clayton Robertson. First pick, they traded up to get Alex Hicks, and then Vincent Frisch later on in the first round as well. That's part of that Gavin Cano trade. And then picking up Justin Duke in the second. What do you think about the Missouri Mays?
Man, I'm really loving this. The first column of that is real nice, and then flowing over into Juwan Smith and Damon Reynolds. Dude, that's a pretty stacked squad. I really like what we're seeing there. We've talked about Juwan Smith enough. We know who Vincent Frisch is coming out of the PDC. This is a guy who can, you know, come in as the last seed in a national and take down the 1 seed. Being Jamie Graham and taking over that seed. That's what kind of player you're going to get out of Vincent Frisch. Justin Duke is really nice. This guy got in through the open point. So he's out there grinding. You know what it takes to get in through the open points. And we should note that he's a guy that went out and won a world's advanced bracket. So again, I don't care about numbers. however you get it done. If you can go out and win a world's advanced bracket, you're going to move up on my list. And he was deserving of going in that round.
Yeah, I love the left side of the left side of the team as well. Again, we kind of questioned that trade. Gavin Cano basically just straight up for a pick. So you're basically getting Gavin Cano for Alex Hicks here. I do feel like they could have gotten more from Gavin Cano, maybe somewhere right around that Nate Boyer, Kevin Smith, even if you're trading another pick later on to kind of fill out your roster. I feel like they're missing one little piece of that. But overall, I do see some wins coming out of the squad. I think I mean, going all the way down to maybe what the 10th round or the 8th or ninth round, they basically drafted very, very well. So Ryan Windsor, good job on the draft this season. All right, last but not least, the Carolina Coasters, the world champion Jamie Graham captains this team. Trevor Brooks, Eric Davis, Berkeley Pear, Chad Hunt, Frank Modlin, Tommy Sliker, Austin Schlobaum, Ben Brown, Cameron Holland, James Baldwin, Caleb Avery, Miranda Coy, Allison Springer, and Daniela Luna. What do you think about the Coasters draft, Anthony?
Let's just talk numbers real quick, just because I got them in front of me. 15th out of 16 in PPR, 15th out of 16 in DPR. They're the other team that have a negative DPR. Now, if we look at this list, we know a guy like Eric Davis, Berkeley Pear, Chad Hunt. These are guys that are going to come out and grind. Ben Brown, they don't give a crap about PPR. But I expected, a little bit better in the DPR category. Worth noting, I think they had to go through 3 trades to make this roster happen. Frank Modlin was a part of a trade. Tommy Sliker was a part of a trade. And I believe Trevor Brooks was a part of the trade. But you can definitely feel some regional in this lineup.
Yeah, I think Trevor might have been a keeper. I can't remember if they allowed him to be a keeper or not. I have to go back and look at it. But Frank Modlin, some people are questioning going out and getting his pro partner. But I mean, I got all the faith in the world in Jamie Graham being able to throw the all cornhole bags. I'm not really worried about that at all. Him going out and getting his pro partner, I feel like it's just it's a win no matter what. Frank Modlin continues to go deep in brackets. Frank Modlin knows how to win. We saw him with Cheyenne Bubenheim in Kansas. He understands the shootout format. He's a smart player. I definitely don't mind that trade at all. Kind of on the back end there, just kind of wondering how it's all going to mesh together. We got Caleb Avery, Miranda Coy, Allison Springer, Daniela Luna. Who's going to throw with who on that back end? You know what I mean? So
I feel you.
Yeah. So, I mean, going back and getting James Baldwin again, I do like Ben Brown, Cameron Holland right there. Overall, I think the Coasters, I'm going to kind of put them with the Ringers right in the middle of the pack. Are there any teams that we kind of talked about, though, that you really, really want to follow closely this season?
I mean, kind of just stepping back a little bit. I think it was the Freeze. Let me just take a close look. I think they were definitely, that roster looked pretty stacked to me. They're one that's definitely standing out. Texas just feels really good to me. I don't know. What about you? What's standing out?
I mean, I love what the Sliders did early on with their trades, getting all these pro partners together. Ryan Smith and Ryan Wiedenfeld throwing together. I'm curious to see what we're going to get out of Duncan Clemmer and Josh Holland. I mean, personality-wise, I think those are 2 very different extreme personalities, even further than we got last year out of Duncan and Noah. So I think Duncan Clemmer is going to provide a lot of the chatter on that one, and Josh Holland's just going to have some fun with it and throw bags. But I mean, they are kind of from the same area, if I'm not mistaken, so very familiar with each other. Going to get a chance to get a lot of reps in. I think Terry Mathis last year was a late pick, and then coming in, just dominating the categories and having a very, very good season, allowing them to basically put that keeper there in that, what would that be, 5th position, 6th position, whatever it was. I like what the Sliders have done overall as a team. The other ones we kind of talked about, though, the Ohio Aviators. I think they got a lot of great value deep in the draft there.
That one looks nice.
Dan, Tony, and Bella. Evan Vanos, how did he do at your station?
I don't think he came through my station.
With your trace? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Evan Vanos, I've seen him play quite a bit. He's got a lot of good talent. He was one of these that qualified, I believe, through the gauntlet as well. But he's got some mad talent. I just think he's got a little nerves. And I want to see him shake those nerves. I'm wondering how this rookie class is going to do with that. Some of these people have been here before. Some of them have the talent levels, but just haven't had the stage experience yet.
Yeah, I definitely need to take a step back and really digest all 16 teams. I mean, as you were talking, I'm looking at the Chicagoland Spinners, and I'm like, dang, these guys look good. If Angel, Frank, and Zachary can come out and do what I think they can do, they're really going to help that team and propel them. And then Missouri Mays, again, taking a step back, looking at that one. I was talking about them being nice from number 1 all the way through Damon Reynolds. That one looks pretty ridiculous too. So I think it's going to take a deeper look to kind of have a favorite that I think would take this thing down.
Alex Rawls in the chat says we have Jeremy Fraser. Was he not on this list? He's not on there. Well, yeah. So they got Jeremy Fraser as well.
Yeah, Jeremy Fraser on that one, which is going to obviously you got Cheyenne Bubenheim out there, and they're playing together right now, building chemistry and using the same bag. So that might be a natural.
Yeah, they had a good run as well.
Amazing run.
I want to say, was it second or third in their bracket? And then he did, I think, fourth place in the singles.
Deep. Dude, Jeremy Fraser's playing off his ass right now. He's going to be nice.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny, though. I got to call him out. He had one moment where he went up to the podium to announce his old pro partner, Dave Sutton, welcome to the squad, and almost had to stand up on his tiptoes over the podium. So I said, I was looking back at you.
Why are you doing him like that?
Oh, man, I was looking back and I said, man, lucky Anthony kept talking about that pick because, dude, I was wanting to roast you so bad, dude. I got to get the shot in here, though. I love you, Jeremy. You know I do. All right, so I'm going to do my best, Anthony, to kind of dissect these trades. We kind of talked about it, Milan to the Coasters. I like that one. I think it makes sense for both sides. Gavin Connor to the Woodchucks. We talked about how Jimmy flipped that one, got some extra players and a really strong pick out of Jeremiah Ellis out of that one. Still not sure about the Missouri Mays side of that one. I definitely understand. We talked about it. If he wants out off your team, you know, I'm fine with getting rid of him. The chemistry is going to be off a little bit. Alan Rawls to the Freeze. We talked about that one, picking up a 9th overall player for the first and second round pick. There's no value that you really could have got out of the first and second round to compare for what Alan Rawls is going to do.
Right.
We talked about him practicing quite a bit. I saw it firsthand. I don't know if you watched him in that final against Tony in person, but his bag is actually getting flatter. So he's getting rid of that saw blade. So if Alan Rawls could actually throw a flat bag, that could be kind of scary. His airmail's on point. Kyle Malone to the Slingers. That one's still kind of scratching my head on that one. Again, I think you could have gotten more out of that if you just hold on to it after the draft. I do feel like a lot of players kind of got trigger happy, going into the draft. They're like, oh, this guy's trading. I want to trade too. But, only time will tell. Wiedenfeld for the 3rd round pick going to the Sliders. I feel like you could have gotten more value there from Wiedenfeld on a trade, but all in all, I do like what the Cutters did with the 1st and 2nd pick, obviously getting Gordon Soto. I just feel like if they would have had that 1st and 2nd and then trade away both of those, man, they could have had a solid squad. Philip Lopez Jr. going to the Slingers. I think that's a good pick up there for the Slingers. Overall value, he had a good run in singles as well. The Colonels, I love that they played the game, getting basically Ryan Hart for Matthew Sorrells. I think Ryan Hart could be a breakout player. The Bully Baggers, I guess, just traded picks straight up. I think the High Rollers were wanting to finish their draft early. We kind of talked to Easy in the hotel lobby. He's like, dude, we only had 3 more picks to go in the final 6 rounds. We just wanted to get our roster filled and go to bed. And then the Colorado Timber basically trading Josh Holland for Ian Cripps. I think that's a pretty even straight-up trade. It's good that Ian Cripps is finally getting some recognition as a top player.
Yeah, at first glance, you're like, what?
Yeah.
But if you take a deeper look, hey, Josh Holland's fallen a little bit, right? You're talking to a guy that he finished 60-something last season, and Ian Cripps finished like 35. So 22, even better. So yeah, you're talking about a kid that's moving up, and unfortunately Holland fallen, who's been solid in previous years.
Yeah. But all right, chat, I'm sure we missed out on a lot of stuff. There was, again, just so much stuff to cover this weekend. We did it, Anthony. We got through all the teams. I'd be very, very surprised if we get to the first teams event and this isn't completely changed again anyway. So
yeah,
that's basically just a recap of what we got, chat. Go ahead and leave a note in the comments who you guys think is going to take it down now that you guys see all the teams laid out. Who's your favorite ones? For Anthony and K9, I'm out. See you guys.